And I'd like to welcome you all to our Tuesday 1:30 p.m. session today. It's May 21st, 2024, and I'll be covering the cost of food, all about the cost of food and some of the factors that impact that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information, any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see me or hear me or see the screen, please let me know in the chat, and I would appreciate that. I always recommend that you have a pen and paper next to you in case you want to take down some notes that you could review for later. And let's make sure to keep our TVs and cell phones in mind so we can give others, and most importantly, ourselves, the most immersive experience, okay? To keep our meetings organized and avoid talking over each other, just have some kind of etiquette, I ask that you use the raise hand feature here in Zoom. In order to ask a question or respond to a question, comment, concern, anything of that nature in Zoom, either during or at the end of the session, you tap more at the top right, and then you hit raise hand. Again, if you'd like to ask a question, a comment, or respond to a comment or a question, or anything the host or presenter has to share. So again, I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand. Just so that way you could practice that feature, but also, so that way you're here, you're ready to learn, you're present, you're, enjoying your meal. It is the afternoon, so you can also do that as well. Have a snack, and have fun because we're gonna have a lot of fun today. So far we're at 14 hands. I really appreciate that. We have about 30 folks on the call right now. So yeah, keep the hands coming. Okay. So we have thank you, Brenda, number 15. I know that's right. And thanks so much for participating. So you all can lower your hands by hitting lower at the bottom. Again, it says your hand is raised. So again, don't forget to lower your hand once you've been called on, please. Thank you. So that way you can make sure everyone has the opportunity to speak and share their thoughts, questions, anything of that nature, okay? Appreciate that. Give me 1 second. Thank you so much. So in addition to raising your hand, you can also utilize the chat if you want to communicate with others non-verbally. The chat is a great way to share a greeting, send a photo, send your congrats, send your encouragements, anything you like to share in the Zoom chat if you just want to communicate non-verbally. If you want to, and again, I want everyone to practice utilizing the chat, you can tap more at the top right of Zoom. Okay, so you tap more here at the top right, and then you can hit chat. Again, on your end, it'll be the very first option. When you hit chat, the meeting chat window will come up, where then it says tap here to chat. You tap in that area, you type your message, and you send it using the blue button on the right-hand side. So if I go to Zoom myself, and then I go to more here at the top right, I hit chat, and then the meeting chat window comes up. So here at the bottom, it says tap here to chat. You'll tap in that area, and then you can send it. Again, you type your message in. Today is National Tea Day, so I'm gonna put a lot of tea emojis just because. And you send it using this blue hand button on the right-hand side, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, it'd just be a simple hello, how are you doing? Happy Tuesday, things of that nature. Anything you'd like to share in the chat, we would love to share. We also, again, have a newcomer on, Mr. McCannon, who just completed his one-on-one training. So let's also in the chat, please welcome Mr. Michael to our Zoom sessions. Okay, so again, happy Tuesday, hello, beautiful people. Hello, everyone. Hey, Sandra, nice to see you. Hope you're having a wonderful day as well. Thank you. You can also, again, send a photo from your Photos app if you would like to in the chat. You can do so by hitting the plus sign next to tap here to chat. And then you can hit photo and add any photo from your Photos app. So let me find, let's see. I had a perfect image for today. Let me see if I can look for it. Let's see if I can find those images. But again, you can choose any photo from your Photos app and add it to the Zoom chat. But here's an example. I did have a teapot emoji somewhere, but there I just sent that background over or that image so that way you can share any image that you have on your on your iPad's Photos app into the chat as well. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, welcome. Yeah, welcome to our new folks. Again, thank you. Hello, beautiful day. And I know that's right, Mr. Ronald. Thank you, Miss Wilda. Happy Tuesday. Thank you, Caroline. Appreciate that. Yep, food. We're going to be talking a lot about food today. So look forward to more of that. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I always appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much. Thank you. 3 new messages. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Miss Sid. I really appreciate that. Oh, if that's your dog, that's so cute. Thank you. And again, if you want to save an image that someone shared in the Zoom chat, you can hold onto that image with your finger and then you can hit save image. So you can save that image to your Photos app if you would like. You can just also hold onto any message and you can either send a reaction here at the bottom or choose the 3 dots and choose any emoji, or you can hit reply and even reply to that chat. So I'll send Anne some emojis, enjoy the sun today. So you can also reply to other messages in the chat as well, okay? So again, we just went over how to raise your hand and use the chat. So I hope you all are able to take advantage of the chat throughout the session. I'm able to check it out throughout the session today. So also just keep that in mind that I can take a look at it throughout with any questions or any comments and address them as well, okay? So today, again, we are going to be talking about food cost today, along with some videos, some fun facts, and some tips and tricks that could definitely help you out when you're at the grocery store. So the cost of food is influenced by a complex interplay of various factors. Here are the primary components that contribute to the cost of food. So things like production costs, you know, the farm and the animals on the farm, they have their own associated expenses, right? The transportation and distribution of food involves fuel prices, actually transporting that the food and those items to wherever it needs to go. It involves processing and packaging. You know, the folks that have to clean and cut and sometimes even cook the food, you know, they have to get paid as well in regards to cost. So again, just keeping these things in mind. You have labor costs. So, you know, again, like before, the actual labor it takes, you know, they have to pay the folks that are doing these things in order to have them still continue to do that function. Supply and demand. If something is in high supply but low demand, it's typically going to be a little cheaper. But if it's low supply and high demand, then typically it would be at a higher cost. So again, supply and demand, micro and macroeconomics all come into play. Government policies and subsidies, so things like tariffs and regulations, you know, with our changing world, some things are cost more to import into the US or the other way around, things of that nature. So yes, government also has a say or a part in food cost. The weather and climate, if there are extreme weather events like a hurricane or a big storm or things that, you know, things of that nature, if it affects that farmland or those animals, like, you know, if they get displaced or if those animals, don't survive or the farm doesn't survive or, you know, the truck is going by. So weather and climate actually have a big part in food costs with the actual transporting the food, but the actual food itself, you know, with temperatures, being exasperated, these days and such. So weather has a big part in food cost. Consumer preferences, there are, just like in pop culture, there are fads and like food preferences or consumer preferences. Sometimes you may prefer more organic or plant-based items or this or that. So, us as consumers, as buying the food, our idea of what we want changes because, I mean, that's just, human tendencies, right? To change maybe what we want, don't stick with the same thing for too long. So that also has a part to play. Inflation, we're going to be talking about inflation a little more in our presentation. But yes, the rising cost of generally everything also has an impact on our cost of food. And there are many, many more reasons. There are things that influence food costs, but we're going to end with energy costs. So everything from the water to the heat to the gas, anything, all those from all the whole process involves, and adjust the cost of that particular item to the consumer. So if you think about it, a lot of these things are even before the food gets into the grocery store in a way. So, with our changing times, it's, getting a little harder to do some of these things, as we've probably read or heard about in the news or amongst friends or family members, right? So these are some of the things that influence food costs. So again, help you all learn something new and kind of thought about food in this way, the actual cost of the food and how it gets from the farm to the factory to the store. Okay. So again, inflation. So we're going to be talking about US inflation. So I found this graphic online that I thought was quite interesting. So how much have prices increased? High inflation has been a feature of the economy for about the last year. So this is, if I look at the bottom, this is about November 2021 to November 2022. So, thinking about that time, we were more into a little bit of COVID back then, but this still applies today. So again, high inflation has been a feature of the economy for about the last year, but how has inflation actually impacted the prices of everyday goods? This chart that you see on the right assesses the year-over-year, or YOY, percentage price change of basic daily goods and the overall categories that they fall under. So in general, all items in that time period went up about 7%. Food went up about 10%. Energy went about 13%. And all items excluding food and energy, it's about 6% altogether. So if you look at these select goods, I think these numbers are quite astounding, right? So food at elementary schools and secondary schools up 254%. Fuel oil up 65%. Eggs itself are up 50%. If you all remember a few months ago, things, I don't remember the specifics, but eggs were very, very high. They could go for like $7 a carton or something. So eggs were one of the major effectees for food. Airline fares went up 36%. Butter and margarine went up 35%. Flour went up 25%. Public transportation even went up, as you can see, especially in DC. Fats and oils, rice, pasta, cornmeal, bread, coffee, poultry, energy, furniture, gasoline, fruits and veggies, alcohol, apparel. Those are some of the things that went up during that time. Some things that didn't go actually went down were beef and veal. Again, quite interesting. Don't know the specific reason why. And smartphones actually went down about 25% from that year. So as you can see, a lot of the things, especially, still to this day, were affected by inflation, some of the most common household goods that we utilize each and every day. So again, I thought that was quite interesting. And this link or this video, again, talks about food prices and how they're rising. So this video is from a clip in Chicago. So I think it also still definitely applies to DC anyway, but it's good to see about how, this inflation or how this affects other places as well. So once this ad goes, I hope you all enjoyed the video and learned something new or just see a different side of how food costs affects our day to day. Okay, so again, thank you so much for your patience, you all. And we're just letting this ad play, all right? So thank you, 1 second. All right. This is from CBS. This is called Eye on America. You may have heard or seen this, this bit on CBS News before. So again, I hope you all enjoy the video and see a new experience.
Welcome Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. Today we meet people grappling with some of our nation's most pressing issues and how to solve them. We visit San Diego. Increased nearly 12% in the past year, and prices for fresh produce remain high. Adriana Diaz takes us from the market to the farm in Chicago to find out why.
At 40 Acres Fresh Market, the greens are usually the first to go.
Look how dark the green is. It just looks so wonderful here. I had to get it.
So just the 2 avocado?
Elizabeth Abuna's small business aims to sell affordable produce on Chicago's west side, which has few fresh food options.
Your total is going to be $35.26.
Since 2020, Abuna has raised her prices by at least 30% at a time when food prices are up everywhere.
You used to be able to get blueberries 2 for $5, and now it's just 1 pack is $3.
Food is costing a lot, and it's noticeable.
When a customer says to you, this is too expensive,
I typically explain it as I grocery shop just like you do, and it's hurting me too. There is no way I can offer this at the same price that I did 2 years ago when my labor expense has gone up, my transportation expense has gone up, and the cost of goods has gone up.
Those goods come from her wholesaler, the man next to her, Bob Skaman, who works for Struby's Celery and Vegetable Company.
Me and him have a cucumber issue right now. There used to be a point where I could sell cucumbers at 50 cents a pop, and now they're minimum $1.
Bob, what's your side of the cucumber story?
We continue to have bad weather in different growing regions. California was above 100 degrees for almost 2 months straight.
Even cardboard boxes are more expensive due to a paper shortage.
2 years ago was $1.90 a box, and now we're paying $2.90 a box.
Remember these bright greens? They come from here, Go Row Fresh, outside Chicago, owned by fifth-generation farmer James Gobert.
Fertilizer prices are up 100%. Fuel's up 50%. We need to pass it on to the consumer, but they can only take so much.
He says even twist ties cost more. So after his greens get packed, rinsed, and cooled, he sells them to the wholesaler, Bob Skaman, for $14 a box, up from $11 2 years ago. So the wholesaler raises prices. These are the greens going to Abuna's company for $16 a box.
When we first started 40 Acres Fresh Market, I could do greens at 69 cents a bunch. Now at our markets, we typically sell greens at $1.25 a bunch.
What would you say to somebody who's going to a food market and raising their eyebrows when they see prices have gone up?
I would say they just need to think about what goes into that. There's a lot of hands that touch the product, and all of our costs are up on every single aspect, so the cost has to go up.
Moving now from food.
Yep, so that was quite an interesting video, you all. So again, seeing even in Chicago how food prices can definitely affect our day-to-day living and things of that nature. So if you give me 1 second, thank you, to move on to our next section. But let me check out the chat. I saw a couple of things. Also, unfortunately, given major historic profits are being made by all, yes, I understand what you mean by that, Mr. Harold. Yes, it can be really difficult. We saw some of the effects that, some of those production costs had on the availability and the price of these different goods as well. We knew that when they were affected, that the prices would soar. No one to pick it. Yes, that's a part of our government having a part into how these things work out, or how again the food gets from the farm to the store to our tables as well. So any thoughts on the video, on inflation, on the some of the reasons or factors that come into food cost? I will take a hand or two. I see Anne's hand up. Did you want to respond to the video or something we've covered so far?
I wanted to respond to how, I don't know if anybody is, excuse me, my voice is really throwing me today. It was good earlier. Okay. That the cows they've had to kill a lot of the cows and chickens because of some kind of bird flu in the West. So the beef is going to go up again, and chickens.
Yeah, our environment, you know, the actual place where it gets, you know, the farms and the animals, like those are being affected, you know, in of itself in many ways. So that's why, you know, in some ways it's good to, you know, see, you know, what's going on and like in those regards, and that way you can kind of plan for the future in that way. So I'll keep my eye out on that. Okay, Anne?
Thank you. I just wanted to bring, because I saw it in the paper.
It's okay. No, thank you so
Mhm.
much, Anne. I really appreciate that. Okay, but again, any other thoughts? We'll also have a discussion at the end. But again, US inflation. It's, you know, good to keep your eyes on that because not just on food, but it affects everything. So again, try to keep that in mind. So moving on, let's go to some DC food costs, fun facts, because we're in DC. So, you know, again, we got to know what's going on, right? So did you know in May 2019, the recommended minimum amount of food in DC was estimated at $15.20 a day, or about $471 a month. The national average is about $324. So we're $150 above the average. If you want to eat out at a restaurant, expect to pay around $16 at an inexpensive place. A 3-course meal for two at a mid-range restaurant in DC will cost you around $75. That's $25 above the national average. So again, you got to keep in mind, you know, we are in DC, you know a little bit about history of DC, you know, folks really weren't meant to live here. This is meant for a place for, you know, government folks and government workers. So, you know, that also has, you know, a reason or a say in that too. But you know, just keep these things in mind. So this website here is called Numbeo. And again, that's where we got this, around this information from. So being updated, as you can see, this is the recommended minimum amount of money for food, you know, with around Western food types. And you can kind of see how it breaks down. So if you notice, milk about a quarter of a liter is about 28 cents. If you look at some higher ones like local cheese, $1.46 for 0.1 kilograms. Chicken fillets, 0.15 kilograms for $1.90. And the most expensive on this list right now is the beef brown. So about 0.15 kilograms, which is about $2.61. So if we're assuming that, you know, this person eats every day, 31 days in a month, if you add all the prices up per day, it's about $14.77, about 15. So about the monthly recommended minimum amount of money for food per person in DC is about $457. And you can see the breakdown of the food expenses here in this pie chart. So again, I think that's quite interesting. So the majority of it is this beef round, then this one that's for 12.9%, the chicken fillet. So you can see it also in order there. You can also see the Asian food types. I'm not sure why they specifically categorize as that, but it's a little different. As you can see, it's a loaf of fresh white bread, about 40 cents. Rice, you still have the beef round, but it's a little less. It's only 0.1 kilograms. So it's a little different. So based on that, if you're going based on these kind of food types, a little more lean, more veggies, things of that nature, a lot of rice. You see that's a lot of rice. It's a great start, things of that nature. So for that, the daily recommended minimum amount of money for food per person, that's a mouthful, right? It's about $11.63. So $360 for that whole month per se. So it's still, you know, even with this, you know, this plan or this kind of foods that you can, it's still more than the national average, right? So I think this app or this website is really interesting. You can also just look at quality of life. You can see that. You can see property prices. You can see cost of living and adjusted based on like different things like gas prices, food prices, living index, things of that nature. So I think this is a really interesting website. But yeah, $324 is the national average. And for that Asian plan that they had discussed, it's 360. So it's still more than the national average. So in DC, you're going to be paying just a little bit more for food than the national average. If you look at the right-hand side, we did mention restaurants a little bit. So I actually have this video that I thought was just quite interesting. It's just more information-based, really. But how do restaurants make their money? How do they stay in business? Like if you think about, especially like McDonald's, or, they have really, really low-cost items. So again, this is how fast food restaurants really make their money. And it's just some things to keep in mind if you do go to that restaurant, and what to stay away from, and just things to keep in mind when you're at these restaurants. Okay, so again, I hope you all enjoy the video and learn something new. So again, how does fast food restaurants really make their money? It's not just because of the food, so you'll learn a little more about that in just a second, and I hope you all enjoy.
Food restaurants like McDonald's can stay in business with the cost of their food so low. How can anyone really turn a profit offering dollar menus, coupons, and value meals? While it may seem like fast food restaurants are pricing themselves out of business, the most successful ones employ lots of tricks to make sure patrons keep coming back. Plus, there are some factors most people don't consider. For example, real estate. One of the most surprising ways that fast food companies make money has nothing to do with food. Most fast food restaurants are licensed franchises that fall under a much larger corporation. These corporations make a lot of money from real estate by leasing out franchises to smaller companies or individual owners, who then turn over a percentage of their profits. One former CFO of McDonald's said the company is not technically in the food business. We are in the real estate business. The only reason we sell 15-cent hamburgers is because they are the greatest producer of revenue from which our tenants can pay us our rent. McDonald's owns about 45% of the land and 70% of the buildings that are home to its franchises. In 2014, roughly a third of their $27.4 billion in revenues came from their franchised restaurants. After all, those fees have to be paid, no matter how business is going. Limited menus. Fast food restaurants cut down on overhead by offering limited menu items. This helps keep their costs low and leads to higher profit margins, since the foods they offer are typically cheap to make. For example, a 50-pound bag of potatoes can be purchased for less than $10. This means the side of fries you spend a few dollars on actually costs a restaurant pennies. Burger joints don't offer very many side items, so there's a good chance most customers will just default to those super profitable French fries.
How do you know you're going to love the taste of these fries? That's how.
Upselling diners. The main purpose of value menus or coupons is to lure the customer into the restaurant. From there, fast food places employ other tactics to make sure they make a profit. While that value menu may look tempting, restaurants will try to steer you away from the lower-priced items in favor of more expensive foods. This tactic, called upselling, is used in most industries and is one of the ways fast food companies keep turning such large profits. You might tell yourself you're going to just order a $1 burrito, but when you get to the restaurant and see the mouth-watering images of combo meals, there's a good chance you're going to rethink your order. Fast food menus will prominently feature these tantalizing images to convince you to spend more money. And even if you manage to hold out even after seeing the pictures on the menu, there's still a good chance you'll cave when the cashier asks if you'd like fries with your order. Fast food restaurants employ this psychological tactic because they know it'll be hard for you to say no. A study conducted at Eastern Illinois University found that people will eat 85% more when asked directly. According to Eat This, Not That, it's harder to turn down that extra food when you're being asked if you want it by another person. By using this method, restaurants know they can easily get you from purchasing a single item from the value menu to dishing out $5 or more for a meal.
McDonald's and you. You too.
Cashing in on extras. If you've ever added guacamole to your burrito bowl at Chipotle, you know what it's like to get hit with an extra charge once you get to the cash register. But even with the sticker shock, customers still pay up, and in droves. As it happens, the restaurant is making a pretty decent profit off of that dollop of guac. A single avocado costs between 50 cents and $1, but Chipotle charges an additional $2 for side of guacamole. Considering the popularity of the dip, those profits add up pretty quickly. Low prices, low wages. Another way fast food restaurants keep their costs low is paying their workers lower salaries. Despite raking in a ton of money each day, the average fast food place pays their employees just a little bit above the federal minimum wage. This drives down the overhead costs significantly. Low wages may help restaurants cut down on costs, but it has a lot of people frustrated. Many workers have demanded higher minimum wages in recent years. Convenience. Fast food restaurants are a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States alone. When you factor in the number of locations all over the world, you're looking at a business that turns astronomically large profits. The average American spends roughly $1,200 on fast food each year, with around 9.3 million Americans served every day. One of the reasons they're so popular is their sheer convenience. It can be hard for many people to find the time to cook or sit down for a meal, but fast food restaurants offer a far faster option. Soft drinks, hard cash. Fast food restaurants make a killing on soft drinks. They're one of their biggest moneymakers. A large soft drink may only cost you $1 or $2, but that can translate up to a 90% profit margin for restaurants. Each soft drink sold costs the restaurant less than $0.25. High profit margins on soft drinks are one of the reasons that fast food restaurants can afford to offer cheaper options like dollar menus in the first place. While they might actually lose money on those items, they more than make up for it in soda sales.
This ice-cold Coke is calling you. I'm just $1 at McDonald's. Come get me.
Thanks for watching. Click the matched icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out.
Yep, so I hope you all enjoyed that video on how fast food restaurants actually make their money. I think the main one in the beginning was, they said, and in an article, the guy said, McDonald's is not a food business, they're in the real estate business. So again, that's just, wow, that's just more food for thought. If you enjoyed that video, if you learned something new, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, if you learned something new from that video, and any of those different things that, just you don't really think about anyway, on how fast food restaurants make their money. Again, if you learned something new from this video, please raise your hand. So wow, we at 6 hands, love it, 7. And I didn't know some of the things before I watched this video too as well, but I did do this session sometime last year as well. So I love to see again this feedback, and still it's good to know these things, especially if you are in this situation that you're at this restaurant or something. But it's just good to know what's going on in the back end. So thank you. I really appreciate you all raising your hands. You all can lower them by hitting lower at the bottom. Again, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I'm glad you all enjoyed the video. This video talks about how food prices affect Americans. So again, just more perspective, more information. So I'm going to help you learn something new, and enjoy the video.
You've noticed how much more your weekly grocery run is costing and how much more it costs to take your family out to eat. With gas prices hitting historic highs earlier this year and with housing and rent prices still high, how is that affecting Americans?
Well, we checked back in with Paul Isley at Grand Valley State to ask about food costs and your budget. And News 8's Emily Leonard on set now with more on that.
Yeah, he's always so interesting to talk to. Isley actually says the price increases start right at the beginning, where our food is sourced.
The price of seed has gone up. The price of land has gone up. The price of interest rates to buy a new tractor have gone up. So the cost of producing food has changed.
Inflation in America is up, and it's affecting how we're putting food on the table. Paul Isley has followed economics in West Michigan closely for years. He says the volatility in the market, like the war in Ukraine, is a big factor. There's not as much cushion in the market, which has sent prices soaring.
You were expecting it to be here, and it's here. Now you have to change what you're doing, change your purchases, make adjustments, and that makes you feel bad.
Isley explains there's a lot of psychology involved in how we spend our money. Paying more, buying less, and getting less than we have in the past makes us feel like we're struggling financially.
Consumer confidence numbers are really, really low. I mean, they're stunningly low, given how good the balance sheets are for consumers. Consumers' balance sheets are really good right now, up and down. They have trillions of dollars of extra wealth now compared to what they had before the pandemic.
Isley says it's that extra wealth that's allowing people to continue buying even as the prices go up. Take going out to eat. Many people are making some modifications to where and what they order and when they go out, but they're still doing it because they couldn't during the pandemic.
People are having to make a decision. Do you buy 1 beer or 2 beers when you're going out to eat now? Do you get dessert? Do you get an appetizer?
Stimulus checks, housing values, and because the stock market didn't crash during the pandemic, they all have Americans overall sitting pretty comfortably, according to the numbers.
People have money. All right, not everybody, but on average, they have more money than they had going into the pandemic.
Isley says the higher food prices are going to be long-lasting, again, because the cost to produce that food has gone up.
Yeah, he raises some great points
Yes,
there
he
about
does.
the complexities behind all of this.
And how it makes us feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's the adjustments that have to be made. Yeah. Okay, Emily, thank you.
So again, that video was created right after COVID or right at the tail end of COVID. So, you know, when he says that people have the money, they, you know, folks did at that time. But he also said that inflation was going to keep going up, prices keep going. And look, like 2-3 years later, he was not wrong about that in a way. So it's kind of good to see our past and how it affected, you know, our present situation now. But yes, you know, nowadays you do have to think, hey, are you going to get dessert? Hey, you're going to get a drink. Are you going to, you know, get these versus how things were maybe like 5-10 years ago. So again, it's just a great way just to look a little bit about our history and to see where we came from. This video is, it's based in DC. It was released last year when the Lidl store opened. And I hope you all again enjoy and just, you know, see something from our area as well. So I know this is back to school grocery shopping. So, you know, school is about to end for, you know, our kids and our, you know, teenagers and such. But this is also just great information year round. But yes, back to school is, you know, there's a lot to it, lots of sales, things of nature. So try to catch those sales as well. But again, hope you enjoyed this blast from the past.
Children everywhere are officially back in school, and now parents are looking for ways to save money on fall family dinners. And Fox 5's Matthew Capucci has the latest budget shopping tips from sponsors Lidl and Avocados from Peru.
Hi there, gang. Good to see you. You know, Lidl is getting you ready for back to school. If you have kiddos, if you have student athletes, so many great options there. Chandler, you work here, and for starters, what do we have here? A little something for everyone.
So yeah, a little bit of everything, from things for lunches, for snacks, for things for kids or student athletes, like you said, to grab and go, to take with them to practice, to take to them to class, etc.
Exactly. So often they're hustle and bustle. You know, a lot of this stuff you can just grab quickly. You can be on your way. Take us through, you know, has Lidl stocked anything extra getting ready for the start of back to school?
We have a ton of great deals that are coming over the next few weeks as people are getting back to school, getting back in the rhythm of kind of everyday life. Great deals from My Lidl straight through our leaflet that people can take advantage of. Some things that you see here, obviously some of the great produce, including avocados, which we have here, some bananas, some apples, really easy to just grab and go for lunches.
I'm trying to grab, but it won't go. I wanted one. All right, well, anyway, continue.
Some other great things, these pack of snacks, just another thing that you can just grab and take to practice or take to class. Some waters, some protein powder for anyone that's getting ready for a big sporting event. But some awesome stuff, some trail mixes, all kind of Lidl's own brand of private label products.
And that's how you keep
really
the prices
great
low, right? I mean, these are not name brand goods. The brand names might look a little different, but really it's the same basic thing, if not a little bit better, and at a more affordable price, which is important these days.
Yes, absolutely. We have about 80% private label products here, and with that, we're really able to keep the prices low. So you'll kind of see this throughout anything that's kind of in our trail mix. That's dried mango range.
Oh, wow.
You'll see this Alesto brand, which is Alesto by Lidl.
Yep.
And then kind of things as well, Greek yogurt by Lidl. You'll see that throughout the store. But then we also do have some things that are national brand, like these Perfect bars.
Yep.
Some people, they're their favorites. My personal favorite granola bar if you ever need something on the go, but a good thing to pick up here as well.
Now, the best part is you don't have to be a student athlete or going back to school to enjoy Lidl. I'm obviously not an athlete. We all know this. There's a reason I did weather. But if you don't like the health food, or if you want something a little extra, look what I got. Pretzels. It's like my 4th one today. Guys,
So yeah, if you, I hope we all got a chance to check out the Lidl stores here in DC. You know, the one in Southeast and the one in Columbia Heights as well. I hope you all get to take advantage. Is that Elesto brand? It looks, you know, really good. You know, that's what it is. You know, it's the only difference really is that it's not a name brand, and you know, it could be even be better than that. So, if you shopped at Lidl's before, if you want to shop at Lidl's after watching this video, please raise your hand just to see, you know, who's been able to get a chance to go there. I myself have not had a chance to visit a Lidl store yet, but I certainly plan on doing so. And you know, they have some good deals, so I will certainly be inclined once I'm near my closest Lidl's. But wow, 10 hands, that's really great. Again, if you like Lidl's, if you've been there, if you want to go to Lidl's, please raise your hand in Zoom. So far, we have 10 hands. Wow, I really appreciate that. 11 hands, thank you. 12. And it's a pretty popular store, Lidl as well. So hope you all get to take advantage. Yes, Mr. Harold. Hopefully one of the things that I'll be talking about today will assist you with that as well. Delivery. I'll be covering a little bit about that in our next 2 slides, okay? But thank you. Wow, we reached like 10, 11, 12, 13 hands. I really appreciate that. You all can lower your hands by hitting lower at the bottom. And it says your hand is raised, and then it says lower. So I really appreciate that. So here I have some tips and tricks on saving money at the grocery store. And then I'll have also some additional tips after that will help you out, Mr. Harold, but also others as well. So here's some tips and tricks. And then afterwards, I go through them. If you could raise your hand and maybe share your favorite tip from this list, maybe why it's your favorite. If you've heard of it before, I would also appreciate that. So let's see a lot of hands just to share maybe your favorite tip or trick that you see on the list. 1, create a meal plan. When you create a meal plan, which you can do with some of the apps that we've talked about in the past, you won't pay for items you don't necessarily need. So once you have that plan with your ingredients, if you stick to that plan, you won't buy anything else that's not required for that plan. Shop during the quietest days of the week. Why go in there when it's so busy and you're like, oh, I just want to get out the store. There's so many people. So, you know, some stores, you know, literally have senior hours, like in the mornings, things of that nature. But yes, typically in the mornings, on the weekdays, are less busy than in the afternoon. So keep that in mind, right? I do that too. I try not to shop during those really, really busy hours unless I have to. I try to shop a little earlier if I can. Avoid buying hygiene products at the grocery store. They tend to be marked up a little more than going to like a CVS or a pharmacy type of store, things of that nature. So keep that in mind. If you go to the hygiene aisle, you know, they have different things, and just, you know, look at the price and be like, hey, could I get this somewhere else for lower? Keep that in mind. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, they're pretty good deals. So I will say that. But most of the time, you know, I'm going to a grocery store to buy groceries. I ain't going to buy hygiene, right? So, you know, just try to keep that in mind, right? As well. 4 is eye level is buy level, right? So more expensive items are placed at this level. If you notice, like if you're in the aisles of a store, you have like, let's say you have 3 levels, right? The more expensive items are placed in the very middle of the aisle on that second row because they're at eye level. The items that are on the ground, not, you know, towards the ground or higher up, tend to be less expensive than the ones that are placed at eye level, okay? Take advantage of grocery store apps such as Safeway to save money. There are many grocery store apps that are available that you can take advantage of to clip some coupons. And hey, it's like free money, basically, that you can save just by utilizing some of these apps. Just because an item is on sale, it doesn't mean you're obligated to purchase it. You know what I'm saying? So you know, when you go to the store, you could give yourself maybe like one or two, maybe gift items for yourself, right? Things that weren't on your grocery list or meal plan or that you wanted. But again, just because it's on sale doesn't mean you're obligated to purchase it. So keep that in mind. And I have to say that to myself too, not just for food, you all, like clothes and things of that nature. I'm like, oh, it's such a good deal. But then you have to really think about it. Hey, do I need this item or do I want this item? And if I need it, then, you know, I have to make a decision. If I want it, then I really have to make a decision and be like, hey, is this the one thing or one of the two things that I want? So, you know, just try to keep your mind in that way. I have to tell that myself a lot. Buy items in bulk, you know, especially if you go to like the wholesaler stores like Costco or like Sam's Club or BJ, something like that. When you buy in bulk, it's typically less per unit. So like air tags, right? Air tags are on sale. If you were to buy them individually, it'd be 30, 30, 30, 30, that's 120. But if you buy in a 4-pack, they are only 20, 20, 20, 20. So it's only $80. So you're basically saving $10 per air tag if you were to buy 4 of them at one time versus the single $30 air tag that if you buy 4 of them separately, it would be $40 more than buying in bulk. So typically when you buy in bulk, it's less money. And last but certainly not least, certainly like if you do not do this, or if you do this or do not do this, then you will be buying more than you think. Shop on a full stomach. Make sure if you eat right before you go to the store, you're not as hungry, you're not as inclined to get, you know, an unnecessary, I'll put that in quotation marks, snacks or food or items in general. If you're hungry, right? Also, if you're on a full stomach, you have the energy, you know, to your brain with yourself. You can think more, you know, easily and really make the decisions that are best for you when you have energy and when you have food in your stomach. Okay, so I hope you all enjoy these tips. Again, please raise your hand if you would like to share your favorite tip from this list and maybe why it's your favorite or how you use it. So again, any hands, please raise your hand if you'd like to share your favorite tip or trick from this list and maybe why it's your favorites, okay? So thank you, we have 2 hands up so far, 3, thank you so much. We'll see how much time we have left. We have about 1 to 2 slides left, okay? So Ms. Laverne, thanks so much for volunteering. Which item on this list is your favorite tip or trick?
Number 8, shop on a full stomach. Because when you're hungry, you do tend to pick up stuff that you don't necessarily need.
I know that's right, ma'am. That's a very, very important tip, and I hope you get to take advantage of it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Laverne, thanks so much. Anne, what is your favorite tip from or trick from this list?
Well, my favorite tip is take advantage of the grocery store apps. Shoppers has a $10 off if you spend $50. Safeway has a new program now that gives you back money on your groceries. It's called your digital coupon.
Yes, ma'am.
I've gotten butter when butter was really high. They had butter like a lot of times, and it was like half of what it was everywhere else. You just have to kind of, and I do make a list of things that are needed. Like if I use something and I know that it's near the end of like seasonings and stuff, I try to look. And I have been in Lidl's. I guess I'm kind of a little leery about these products that I'm not used to buying. But I can tell you that you definitely do not want to buy your personal items in the grocery store.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like you're going there for groceries. You ain't going there for that. But you know, it's there. So if you need it, like if it's absolutely necessary, then you know, I wouldn't bat an eye to no one if they do, but it's like, you go to the store, try to go for that one purpose, and it's a lot easier on your brain and your wallet, and it's just less to think about. So if I go to the grocery store, I'm going to buy groceries. I'm not going to buy that,
Yeah.
but I know it's there if it's truly, truly, truly necessary.
And for the last couple of years, I've had a little garden. And so
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good tip. And grow it yourself. It's a
grow it
lot
yourself.
cheaper to grow yourself.
Tomatoes, I grow and share the tomatoes and the lettuce and the greens, and then been getting the greens from the Hungry Harvest and other stuff, and I
Yeah,
blend
so taking
them,
taking advantage
yeah,
of the food programs in DC too. So
yeah.
grow it yourself and take advantage of food programs. That's how you can definitely save. And you don't even have to be at the grocery store to save. You could save before you get to the store with some of
That's
those
right.
options.
And
Yeah.
then, and I'll tell you another thing I learned by being sick this week. I bought, the doctor recommended the, what is it? Oh shoot, the cough syrup. It'll come to me. Mucinex, not Mucinex. Where they have. It was at the drugstore. It was 17. It has gone up from. It used to be 13. It has now gone up to 17. And Walmart sells it for about 10 something or 13.
Yeah,
It's gone, and
yeah.
it's gone up to
Check out your
13.
options. You got to check out
Mhm.
your options to
Check out
see
your
truly,
options.
yeah, which one that you want to, depending on, how close it is to you, things of that nature. Those some of those. But yes, and thank you so much for your tips with the garden, with the apps, with the food programs, and just making sure you check your options. I really appreciate those tips,
And you
I know
don't
the
have
group
to
does
have
as
a
well.
lot of earth part. You can buy these bags that Gracie and I found. Gracie's the one that turned me on to it last year. But there are these bags, and you fill them with dirt, and you plant your stuff and water it. And when the season is over, you can dump the bags, clean them, and keep them for the next year.
Well, thank you so much for your tips, Anne. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Next up is Louise. Again, thanks for volunteering. Which one of these is your favorite tip or trick?
I like to go in the quiet time or in the day, in the week, early before the traffic, and it's like the parking lot is so crazy, and you get nervous when people are moving too fast, And I don't buy my hygiene product in the grocery store, and I like to buy in bulk. I like to go to Costco and get everything that I need so I don't have to go for a long time. And I remember going to Lidl, and I was hungry that day, and they had a bakery.
Oh, that's how they get you with that
And
smell.
I looked at, I don't like to eat regular bread, but I love French bread. And they had these freshly baked French bread, and I bought it. And I tell you, before I got home, the bread was almost gone because I was eating
God.
I said, never again. So the second time I went back, I bought the bread, but I was not hungry. So I came home with everything. But I love the Lidl store. I get salmon. There's sockeye salmon there too sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tea. Herbal teas.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your tips and for explaining which ones were your favorite and why. I really appreciate that, Louise. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Our last two hands, again, before we move on to our next slide. Again, thank you all so much for sharing your tips. Ms. Thelma, what is your favorite tip on the list and why?
Well, several of them are my favorite tip, but the most of all is the quiet time. I have to go in there when it's just me. I want to be shopping, with me and nobody else, But before I even go to a store, a good 3 years ago, I don't know how I got it, but I had Flip on my map. And Flip had every grocery store, every drugstore, Home Store, Home Depot, everybody. I'm looking at Harriet Teeter, I'm looking at J.C. Penney's, I'm looking at Lydia. Everybody got a sale. So I go in there and compare, them first. Then I say, who am I going to, because I done shopped at every store around D.C., Maryland, Virginia,
I know
trying
that's
to
right, Miss
save,
Thelma. Yes, ma'am.
And so after I get through with my Flip and all, and I do, since during the COVID, I've been doing home delivery. And all these stores do home delivery. So I go on Flip, make my list, and by the time I can buy a month's supply of food if I stick with Walmart. Walmart Senior Club, I can get me a month's supply of food for only $55. Everything that I need to cook and eat, not what I want. I don't buy nothing what I want because I don't know what I want. So it all, but that Flip application is dynamite for anybody, because even though if you go shopping for clothing at JCPenney's and Lowe's, the other stores, that's separate from when you getting your food. Your food store's still on there too.
Yes, so that's why,
Safeway's supposed to always have a better sale than Giant. I wonder if Lydia have it better than in Artie. Lydia and Artie they gonna get my money.
That's why it's
Lydia,
like we
and
talked
Walmart
about before.
Get my money.
Yes, Anne said checking out your options, so that's the exact same thing that you're saying. So I really appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
And our last hand for now is Mr. Thomas. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Hi,
Mr.
Alex.
Thomas. What is your favorite tip?
Well, first of all, I think it was Laverne who said shop on a full stomach. That is one of my favorites. But I have a problem in that I fell into the coupon craze. And I found out that the coupons are the craziest things to depend on, because you wind up buying things because you're saving money. However, you don't use the items that you're buying.
Making sure that that you take advantage of that. And not too much though, because just because it's on sale doesn't mean, or you have a coupon.
Right. You're right.
So you got to think if it's a want or a need, and you got to really, really say to yourself, do I want this or do I need this just because it's on sale? And you got to look, if it's truly, a deal and that you need it, then wonderful. But again, just because it's on sale doesn't mean you have to purchase it.
Now, there's one other thing, Alex. I used to be able to buy a pound of spaghetti in a box for, let's say, $1. Now that same box is $1.25, but the product inside of it is only 14 ounces, not 16.
Yes,
and it bothers me that they have shrunken the price of the item that you want. They shrunk that product down but raised the price. That bothers me the most.
That's so crazy, Ms. Thomas, because I just recently watched a couple of videos on that where, yes, things are slightly, the packaging is either bigger and it's the same amount, or the food in there is smaller. By some silly thing like the packaging, it could be 2 versus 3 in there, or some things of that nature. So that has happened, with folks, with the strain that that these different factors having to go into food costs. They're just trying to make sure that they don't go under. So unfortunately, some companies, they choose to kind of mislead you in a way with the item because it looks the same, but it may be different. That's why, again, it's so important to look at the label and read the box or the package, or just try to think, hey, did something change between now versus the last time that you purchased it, right, Ms. Thomas?
Right.
But thank you so much for sharing those tips and why you like them. I really appreciate that, Mr. Thomas. Thank you so much. So speaking of apps, I forgot this was actually a tip on the list, but if you use your iPad, I guarantee you can save on the items that you need and maybe want utilizing your iPad and some of the apps. If there's a grocery store that I go to, there is most likely an app for it. So here's just some of the apps or grocery stores that you can take advantage of with those with coupons, with sales, with seeing the ads, seeing what's going on with your favorite store. So as you can see, there's a Walmart app, Target, Kroger's, Costco, Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, Five and Below, Walgreens, CVS, Safeway, Giant, Whole Foods, Aldi's, and there's many, many more. But these are some of the grocery stores in DC that you can take advantage of. But again, it's all about going to the app store and just downloading these apps. Once you download them, they're pretty simple to navigate and explore. So here, Walmart, you can, again, with a lot of these apps, you can order delivery with them as well. Things of that nature. You can see more about the app. So that's Walmart. I mean, there's a Kroger's app. I mean, right here at the top right, even look, Kroger Delivery Now app. Target, same thing, Target app, you covered that in the past before as well. Safeway, here's the Safeway app. There's the Walmart app, again, the Target app, Fred Meyer app, Costco app. There's just all these different options. So again, if you want to kind of plan to see what's there and kind of shop, make your list. Some apps even have the Whole Foods app has a built-in shopping list as well. So again, you can take advantage of that. I mean, there is just so many apps and stores that are out there. You can go to I use the Aldi's app all the time. I love the Safeway app. It used to save me a lot when you're a member. Sometimes you get free things, you build points to get some free items in your cart when you're at the store. And I mean, just in general, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, they just don't have food. So you can look at, some of the other things, right? I go to those stores for like party decorations or, things of that nature, right? That you may need a lot of. So again, these are just some great ways to see and look at the deals and options that these different stores have. So again, like Walgreens has an app. I mean, it's amazing. CVS has its own app, right? That you can search for. So these are some of the apps, again, that you can take advantage of with the with your iPad. So there's a store that you go to that you enjoy, that you like. There was probably an app for it where that way you can see any deals or any sales or any coupons for things of that nature. You can make shopping lists. You can order delivery from most of these as well. So these are a ton of different options that you can use your iPad with. Everything from Walmart to Target to Kroger to Costco to Walgreens to Safeway to Giant to Whole Foods and to Aldi's and much, 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 much more. So if you could, again, I'm going to just lower everyone's hand. If you could share again which of these apps that you would like to take advantage of, I'll take a couple of hands here or there. So again, the list that you see on the screen, please raise your hand if you'd like to share maybe some of the apps that you would like to explore and take advantage of. Thank you, Brenda. I see you have the apps on your phone, which is great. However you get access to it, hey, a sale is a sale. But which one of these are your favorites so that you want to take advantage of, Brenda?
Well, I usually do Target a lot and Walmart. But like I said, I have the apps on my phone. I have the app for Lidl on my phone. So when I go there, I can just pull it up and, and they deduct some coins, not dollars, but
yeah,
coins. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, and I have. Well, I don't have Costco on my phone, but I shop there pretty regularly too. So yeah, don't do Giant too high.
Oh, Brenda, why? I love Giant. I mean, in some ways it is.
Yeah, they got some good stuff, but they pretty high. So I mean, you have to really catch sales for them, and they have some pretty good sales sometimes. So
right, and that's why the app is so important. So you can see the price. Sometimes the item that doesn't have a tag on the rack, or you know what I'm saying. So
yeah,
it's you can also with the Costco app. With these, if they have a membership like Costco, need a membership, you can also renew or adjust your membership and things of that nature too. So,
yeah.
The apps are multifunctional, which I really like as well.
Yeah,
but
they are.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, Brenda.
Sure.
Help you save some bucks.
I'd like to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Mm-hmm. I see in the chat, I do, Instacart, that's a, awesome option. Coupon clipping called Queen Pins, a movie. I'll be sure to check that out. Miss Thelma, I would just like Miss Thelma suggested, if you go to the App Store, you can search the Flip app. It's with 2 P's, Flip app, and that's just another option that you have to look at deals versus other stores and such. And these are specifically for those particular stores, and all of them, have integration with the store. If you want to use the coupons that you clipped in the app, you most likely, like if I go to Dollar General, if I go to Safeway, I put in my phone number and it automatically deducts those coupons. One time I went from like $17 at Safeway to $4. I'm not even joking. My friend was like, what? Like, how did you do that? And I was like, it's just the app. So if you take advantage of the app, you can save cents or even dollars or tens of dollars with those different items. Another hand is Miss Louise. And what is your, which apps do you want to take advantage of or that you do?
I really didn't know that I'm a member of the Costco and I go there and buy a lot of stuff, but I never have an app for it. And I've been to the Walmart and the Dollar General, the Aldi's. Aldi's was my favorite for a while until Lidl show up. And so I just pick what's the closest one, and Lidl is the closest one to me now. But I still do go to the Aldi's. But I didn't know that I've never done the app on them. I just go there.
Yeah, I mean, for everything, especially Costco, like you can order online. So maybe something's not in the store. That's where, I use the Costco app to purchase my TV in my house. So, it's great. They got it delivered. Costco, some of those items, like they have, like you pay a certain amount, they get it set it up for you. So I don't have to set up my TV, things of the nature they did. So, you could really take advantage of these apps for those coupons and for those deals, but also just to, check out what's in sales. Most of these apps like Aldi's and Lidl's and Safeway, they have their own weekly ads. So you don't have to get the paper version no more in store. You can just use your iPad and look up those deals and those coupons and those ads for their weekly whatever deals. You can use these apps for that. So yeah, I would download the Costco app, and there is a Lidl app too as well. There's an Aldi's app, there's a Walmart app. So please take advantage of them, and that way you can.
Walmart is good. I used to buy a bag of crackers at Walmart, a Jamaican type of crackers, for $1.78, and I went to another store. It was $2.49, and they got less in the bag. Once I used to have a big bag. Now the crackers are smaller, and they have less in the bag, and it's $2.49 at the other store. And so I need to go to the Walmart more often.
Yeah, and it's just all about checking out your options and see what is the best for you, which I love. So hopefully you get to download some of these apps, Louise, and take advantage of them.
That's what I want to try. Yeah.
So good luck to you, and I hope it helps out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Louise. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Bridget, both Aldi's and Lidl's are owned by two brothers from Germany, and yes, they are. I love Aldi's because of their specialty section. I love that section. I mean, I could buy literally everything in that section because I love, those kind of products. Those are just my cup of tea. There's like a herring fillet that comes in a can that you can get at Aldi's. One in tomato sauce, one in like a curry pineapple sauce. They're so delicious. I love those exotic or foreign products as well. They're cheeses too. So thanks so much for sharing that, Bridget. Mr. Angelo, again, thanks so much. What apps would you like to try out?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that I like all these because they, like you said, they're very discounted, very much so, and they may not have all the name brand stuff that the other stores have, but they're very much discounted as far as price-wise is concerned. So that helps a whole lot. And plus, they'll deliver the food to your home. So I like that. You don't have to go out. And in fact, I think Walmart delivers too.
Yes, we covered Walmart in one of our sessions. So a lot of these apps and a lot of these groceries, they do offer deliveries. So it's all about going into the app and checking it out. And in case you want to do that option, or just be able to see the deals for that particular store. Okay.
Right. And just one more thing, we were talking about shrinkflation or whatever. When you go to the store and say Walmart, they have the milk in the freezer, and it's always best to check the milk cartons or bottles or whatever in the back, because the ones that expire earlier are in the front. So the newer ones, they last longer, they're in the back. And so you have to check it out.
Yeah, anytime you pick up something, just take a second to look at that Best By date or the things of that nature. So just try to keep that in mind while you do so. Thank you, and thank you for the tips as well. I really appreciate that, Mr. Angelo.
My pleasure. Okay.
All right. You have a great rest of your day.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep, Aldi's and Lidl's have good quality products, just as good as the name brands. It sure is. So I love, just trying something out. You got to try it out before you know if you like it or not, right? So try to keep that in mind. And thanks so much for your tips and tricks and information and guidance for others. I really appreciate that, you all. The last thing I wanted to cover, just really quick, this is an app called Supercook. So I would have presented this during one of our other sessions, but I love this app because, the food costs, if you have something in your fridge already, why buy it again? So this app allows you to show you recipes that require ingredients that you already have. So if you want to save the recipes that come up, you must create a Supercook account, which you can in the app. But with Supercook, again, you can build a virtual pantry with the ingredients you have at home, get creative in the kitchen with over 11 million recipes, and reduce food waste. So that way, again, when you create that meal plan, again, you know what's in your home, what's not in your home as far as food goes. So it's called Supercook. It's right here at the top right-hand side. You're going to get and download it. And once you do, and you're signed in and everything, this is what your app will look like, right? So you can literally choose your pantry. I'm gonna remove all the ingredients here just so that way you can all see, but you can use your voice to add ingredients, or you can select from the many or plethora of options available. So again, this is, let's say I have garlic, let's say I have milk, let's say I have carrots and bell peppers, maybe let's say I have some limes and lemons, let's say I have some walnuts or almonds, cream cheese, Parmesan. Let's say I have butter and eggs. Let's say I have some tofu, maybe some bacon, steak, some ham, maybe some ground beef, some chicken. So again, I'm just doing an example, right? So whatever you have in your pantry, once you're done, you hit See Recipes right here. And look, it says building your menu. You can make 2,300 recipes with your 21 ingredients. So look, anything with bacon, breakfast and brunch, deli ham, Asian, ground beef, appetizers and snacks, things of that nature. Once you tap on the recipe that you like, you can favorite it by hitting this heart icon here on the right-hand side. It tells you the ingredients, which you might also like. And at the bottom, when you tap on View Full Recipe, it takes you to that specific recipe. So the smoke roasted garlic burger, it tells you the recipe. You just go through and you select the recipe and look for it and adjust as necessary. These are your favorited menus. So these are some of the favorites that I've had in the past. And then the last tab, you can make a shopping list in this app as well. So this is just another option. So if you need, again, if I need milk, I can add milk, and then cheese, and then eggs, and then look at that. I can mark them off, what's in my list versus what I got, okay? So that is the Supercook app. If you like this app, if you want to download it, if you have downloaded it, if you've taken advantage of this app before, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, the Supercook app, if you can create your own pantry on your iPad, and then it tells you what recipes that you can make with those ingredients that you have. And you can also create a shopping list within the app as well for those items that you may need. Okay, so this is called Supercook. You can go to the App Store and download this app, just like with all these other grocery store apps that you can take advantage of. Okay, so it is called Supercook, and I hope you all get to take advantage of it. So far we have 2 hands up. I appreciate those that participated. Thank you so much. And I hope you all get to take advantage of these different apps, this information, etc. So thank you so much. Okay. Please also make sure you check out the chat for any messages that come up. Mr. Harold showed a message as well. So please make sure you check that out. But any thoughts on today's session, something that you learned, something that stuck out to you, just any thoughts or reactions on today's presentation, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, any thoughts or reactions on today's presentation, please raise your hand, and we would love to hear from you. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and just check out the chat to see if there are any other questions or comments. So again, please make sure you all check out the chat for Mr. Harold's message. Thank you. I like to shop at Walmart, Costco, Save a Lot. Yeah, love it. So again, if you like a store or something of that nature, you can check it out on the App Store and see if it's already there. So thank you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and thank you all so much for coming on to our session. And please make sure you stay on to complete the poll that I will be sharing. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thanks so much for attending.